An essential part to learning any new piece of software is to get familiar with the interface. In this movie, I'll take you through the entire Adobe Illustrator interface so that you have a better idea of where to go as I direct you to various places throughout this course. I'll start at the top and I'll work my way down. So let's go up here to the top and take a look at the menu bar. This is this area that extends all the way across the top, just like this. You'll find things like File, Edit, Object, Type, etc. Anytime throughout the course that I tell you to go to a specific menu, this is the area I'm talking about. So for instance, if I said we need to go to the Object menu, I'm talking about this area here, and you would simply click the word Object. Same thing if I told you to go to the Type menu. You would just navigate to the next menu option called Type. Each time you click on these, they drop down with a list of options. Inside of that list of options, you'll also find links with little black triangles next to them. This indicates that there is a sub-menu inside of that menu. And you can see that that continues throughout the entire menu system. If you want to close one of these menus, you can simply navigate away from it and click away. Once you click away, the menu should close and you can continue working here inside of Illustrator. To the right-hand side of the menu bar, you'll also find two quick links, one that allows you to access the Adobe Bridge and another which allows you to arrange various documents that you have open into different configurations. We'll discuss this a little bit later. Now let's move down and talk about this area here. This area is known as the Control Panel. The Control Panel is a context-sensitive area that allows you to view several different tools and options based upon what tool or object you have selected at any given time inside of Illustrator. Some of the more common features like fill, stroke, point size, paragraph options, and things like that will appear depending on what type of tool you have selected at any given time. You'll also find various links, like for instance the link to the Stroke panel here, or the Opacity panel here. These links will show up based upon your screen size. If you have a larger screen size, chances are you won't see these links. A smaller screen size means you'll see even more links. For instance, if I take this window and shrink it down, as I start to resize, the links either disappear or they get stuck in this little side menu here. When you click on this little menu button here, you'll be able to see all of the options that are available to you inside of the control panel, whether they're present or not. Clicking away from this closes it right back up. Now, I'll resize my window back to its normal size, and you can see that most of those options come right back. Now let's move on and talk about the Tools panel. The Tools panel inside of Illustrator is located here on the left-hand side of your screen. I've also included inside of your AI Cheats PDF a breakdown of the Tools panel as well. Let's take a look. As you can see, the Tools panel has several different things inside of it, and it's broken down into small groups as well. You'll notice in the Tools panel, they have these little separator lines in between the groups of tools. These are because these tools have something to do with one another. For instance, here at the top, you have your selection tools, things that allow you to click on things and select them or make selections with something like the lasso tool or the magic wand tool. Directly underneath that, you're going to find various tools that allow you to create things like the pen tool, the brush tool, the pencil tool, the type tool, etc. Directly underneath that, you're going to find some things that allow you to modify different things, like the rotate tool, the free transform tool, the perspective grid tool, and also the shape builder tool. Underneath that, you'll find some more options for things like the mesh tool, creating gradients, eyedropper, etc. Now let's move back over into Illustrator for a moment and actually take a look at the real tool panel. Inside of the Tools panel, when you hover over one of these tools, you'll see a tooltip that appears telling you exactly what that tool is. And then in parentheses, you'll also see a letter. That letter corresponds to a key on your keyboard which you can press to instantly access that tool. So for instance, if I wanted to access the Type tool, I would simply hit the letter T on my keyboard. Instantly, the Type tool becomes active and ready to use. If I wanted to use something like the Pen tool, I could hit the letter P, and it would automatically activate and allow me to start using it. Depending on which tools you use most often, you may want to commit these letters to memory. That way you can quickly switch between tools without having to go find it inside the Tools panel. Another great thing about the Tools panel are these little white arrows at the bottom right corner of certain tools. This indicates to you that there are sub-tools inside of this toolbox. So for instance, inside of the Type tool, I can click and hold, and you'll see all of the different type tools that are available to you, like area type, type on a path, vertical type, etc. The same holds true for things like the Pencil tool. If I click and hold on the Pencil tool, you'll see that I get the Pencil tool, the Smooth tool, and also the Path Eraser tool. So remember, anytime you see that little white triangle in the bottom right-hand corner of a toolbox, that indicates there are more tools available to you. So just take some time and explore those and get to know them as you work throughout Illustrator. To close these submenus, simply click Away, and it will close the box for you. Now I'll simply click on my Selection tool again. That's the default tool here inside of Illustrator, and I can continue working. Let's go back down here to the bottom of the Tools panel. There's a few more things that I didn't explain. For instance, this area here. These aren't exactly tools, but they're a part of the Tools panel. This is the area that determines both your fill color and your stroke color. And there's some built-in shortcuts for this as well. If you want to toggle whether or not you're working on the fill and stroke, simply hit this little arrow right here, and they flip. Directly underneath there, you'll see things like adding color, adding gradients, or filling with none. When we talk about fills and strokes in a later chapter, you'll get a little bit more in-depth explanation of what these do. But for now, I just wanted to make you aware of where they are. Finally, underneath, you'll see links to the drawing modes, which we'll also cover in a future movie, and changing your screen mode as well. Screen mode is a great way to cycle through different ways of presenting your work, either to yourself or to your client as they're looking over your shoulder. Now that we've covered the Tools panel, let's move down to the bottom of the Document window. The Document window is this big thing right here in the middle. It holds your document. At the bottom of the Document window, you're going to see some pretty helpful controls. Like for instance, the magnification level. This allows you to easily jump to a zoom level on your document. Anything from 6400%, which is really zoomed in, all the way down to 3.13%, which is really zoomed out. Now let's click back here, and I can return back to 100%, and it goes back to normal. You'll also notice here that you get a little jump menu for artboard navigation. If you happen to open up a file that contains more than one artboard, or if you've created a file that contains more than one artboard, you can easily jump to another artboard by clicking here and choosing the artboard from the drop-down list. In this case, I only have one artboard, so I only get to jump to this one. You can also see here that I can navigate and reveal this file in the bridge, or I can show either the current tool, date and time, number of undos, or the artboard name. This is all information that'll be displayed right here in this little section. So depending on what you actually have selected there, you'll see different information here every time. Right now I have the current tool selected to show here. So if I switch tools to the Type tool, you notice that it instantly changes to Type. So if you're not sure exactly what tool you've clicked on, you can also check down here and it'll tell you exactly what you're using. Now let's move over here to the right-hand side. We're going to cover these in depth, but I wanted to let you know exactly where the panel system was inside of Illustrator. The panel system are all of these little icons that you see over here by default. They can be expanded, as you see here, so that you can see everything that's going on inside of them, or they can be collapsed like you saw there by default. The panels are where you do all of the heavy lifting inside of Illustrator. It's where you find things like swatches, brushes, and symbols, stroke controls, gradient options, the appearance panel, and also the ever-important layers panel as well. As I said, we'll be covering the panels in depth in their own movie later on, but I wanted to make sure you knew exactly where they were, so if at any time I said, hey, let's go to the color panel, you could open this up and easily find your way there. The last thing we're going to talk about inside of the interface is the Workspace Jump menu. Anytime you want to change workspaces in Illustrator based upon a certain task that you might be trying to perform, you can do so directly from the interface right here. This little jump menu allows you to go between several different workspaces like Automation, Essentials, Layout, Painting, Printing and Proofing, Tracing, Typography, and Web. So depending on exactly what you're working on in Illustrator, you can actually pick one of these options and Illustrator will automatically rework its interface to suit the needs of that particular project. Now it should be noted that these workspaces are only the recommended workspaces for those particular tasks, and you may find that you need to customize the workspace even further. I'll cover exactly how to do that in a future movie as well. To close this, simply click on it and it'll automatically collapse back. Well, this pretty much wraps up our tour of the Illustrator interface. By now, hopefully you have a good understanding of where the main components of Illustrator are located and what purpose they serve in your workflow. Now we're ready to move on and see how we can tweak the interface to make it work a little bit more like we want it to.